Harvey Dent. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Batman, the Fan-imated stream.
I don't have a coin. I failed. I failed the prop game.
Damn. You know what's funny? I remember when Batman Forever came out and the Two-Face figurine came with a special coin. I love that coin. I had that coin in my pocket for a good 6 months. And then my brother was all about it at 1.2. Yeah. I remember that coin because it had, of course, both the double-sided coin, double head, and the scratches on one side. I love that coin, man.
I loved having I had the Two-Face mug from McDonald's.
Nice. Yeah, I remember those McDonald's mugs. Anyways, welcome to Batman the Fan-imated stream. I am Dave, of course, the film junkie, and we got my co-host Scott. How you doing, sir?
Which is fun. I love it. I will never get tired of that. I swear.
I hope not. Thank you for joining us today. We got a gem today, folks.
Such a great episode.
That's great. And then this time too, guys, I've upgraded to digital. I actually was like, you know what? I'm not going to write down anymore because sometimes I'm writing so fast, it's like a doctor when they're signing their it's just chicken scratch. So now I'm like pulled up a doc and I'm like, I got my laptop involved this time, so I won't be like, what are I trying to say here?
I'm gonna miss the whole
yeah.
It was quaint. It was quaint, Dave.
But I needed to do. I was like, nah, I'm gonna use doc. Save some paper, guys. Save them trees. But yes, so we are gonna be discussing part 1 of Two-Face because it is a two-parter, but there's plenty to talk about in this one specifically. I mean, so much awesomeness. I mean, we know how it ends. It's just so good.
Yes. Oh my God. The animation, right off the bat, this is one of those like, this is one of those. Oh yeah, this is like you got the right studio.
Yes,
and which is something we're going to talk about next week because man, there's a shift between part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, you know what? What's funny is after I got done watching the episode, I just left it on, and when it came back, and when I was like, I was getting things together and like, doing everything, I wasn't really watching it. But anytime I did, I went, this one, definitely part 1 is the superior part. I'm like, yeah, there definitely is. So, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mama.
And we got Jason.
Yes,
we got Prima. We got Geek Studios. Thank you for joining, guys. Appreciate it. But yes, so obviously, when this episode starts, what's his name? Who does the voice of Harvey again?
Oh, Richard Mall.
I was like Robert Mall or
I know. Sorry, it's always Night Court. I always cannot help but get Night Court in my head.
Yeah. When you think about that guy, you think about Night Court for sure. Aren't they doing a revival of Night Court?
I've heard they were going to be doing a revival of Night Court.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. Of course, I don't know how I ever feel about any kind of revival of an old TV show from my childhood.
I know. It's just like it never. I don't know. I mean, I guess Fuller House kind of worked. I dug it for about the first 7 episodes, and then I was like, I'm done.
I was. My wife kept on watching it, but at least that one, maybe Night Court does that, where it's just a continuation of the story. Like those, I tend to mostly be okay with versus let's just pretend like the original series never happened and let's completely redo it.
Right. Like, I know that. Don't do that. Do a continuation. I remember Boy Meets World did Girl Meets World, which is their daughter. So it was like, all right, I get that. Do a continuation. But if you try to do something there, I don't know. Don't even try. But they're going to revive everything, it seems. See what happens. I've been on a Family Matters kick.
I've been following you on Twitter for that. I just like I love it. I haven't gone back and like rewatched that because I remember going back and like when I wasn't watching all the episodes, like you finally explained to me how Stefan and Steve could coexist at the same time. Like I didn't know that, and then I saw your tweet. And I was like, Oh, that's how that happened.
Yeah,
Okay.
Steve cloned himself, and the solution was, well, let's turn one of them into Stefan, obviously. Yeah, I know. It's just, but I kind of find it funny because, I mean, it's gotten to the point where Steve has invented a transformation chamber, a cloning chamber. He's also invented a time machine. I just got done with that episode. He invented a teleportation pad that transferred the whole family to Paris. And I'm like, how is this guy still, living in with the Winslows, sharing a room with Eddie? I mean, come on. I mean, he invents all this stuff. And like the last episode, it's all he did something where he could read minds. It's gotten so ridiculous. I mean, I'm on season 9 right now, and I'm pushing through because I don't really remember season 9. This is when I fell off, even back when it was on. And I'm just going, holy crap, man. Just like the first 4 or 5 seasons were just, great. Of course, it got to the point of like a lot of Steve Urkelness, but then, then it just falls off.
It jumps the shark.
Time. Anyways, there you go. There's our tangent right there of talking about family manners, as we were supposed to, during a Batman stream. But anyways, the way that this episode starts off, chef's kiss to dream sequence. We got to love the dream sequences when it comes. And we got Harvey Dent essentially running, he's running from Big Bad Harv. So great way to start.
Oh, and I love the image of Big Bad Harv in shadow. You can tell from the outline that it is Harvey. And then the way they get like that column of light on the hand that's flipping the coin.
Yeah, it's so good.
And for someone like me, who at the time I'm watching this episode, I don't know, like I've seen Two-Face like in a kid's coloring book or something, but I don't know Two-Face. So this is another one of those episodes that when I'm 10, this episode is telling me everything I know about this character, I'm getting from the animated series.
Oh, I mean, they take a deep dive into the psyche of Harvey Dent, like very well. I mean, if you ever want to, sadly, we didn't really get too much of this when it came to Batman Forever. They kind of just briefly do the backstory thing, but there's so much there. We kind of, when it came to Dark Knight, it was a little bit, but of course the main villain was the Joker. So we got like a little bit in the Dark Knight, but man, if you really want to take a dive into Harvey Dent and his psyche and the, Big Bad Harv, it's this episode right here, 100%.
I like how they treat it. As much as a cartoon is going to deal with DID, dissociative identity disorder, this one, they do their best in a fictionalized way of saying the personality existed through repressed emotion. Like basically, if you've ever done any kind of study of DID, which some people don't even believe is an actual thing, like Alan Burnett does the story for this. And then Kevin Altieri does the direction. And, those are 2 names at this point. It's like if you see Altieri's directing an episode and Burnett didn't write the script, but he did the story for it. And you're just like, oh, man, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one.
Oh, man. And then when Harvey wakes up from this nightmare, of course, sweating bullets. He's on a couch, and then his little assistant guy said that Gordon has started the raid on some of. We get some Rupert Thorne that's happening in this episode, which is
introduction great. Of Rupert Thorne into the series.
Rupert Thorne into the Batman the Animated Series universe, and of course, Gordon and the Gotham PD are outside about the raid. This, I don't know exactly where they're at. Some place that they're,
it looks like there's like an abandoned building.
Yeah, it's always abandoned buildings or whatever the hell. But it's just funny because obviously Harvey shows up, and I like that it was like, how's everything going? And then all of a sudden it's that gag of like, and then all at the duck. It's like, well, and then literally there's a guy in there that like, does he pull up like a bazooka or something?
Yes, right. He has a, I'm not sure if that's a grenade. That's probably like a grenade launcher probably or something
like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's just like seriously because they on the crates it says it's from like an army depot in Gotham.
Yeah, of course. That's for the audience to know exactly what's up. And then of course Batman shows up. Because you can't have a raid without Batman.
Oh well, then also the way it's done because like no one could get in here, and then you just see the little shadow bag go.
Yep, he just comes down, and you're like, all right, it's time for that. And then, it actually is a pretty cool scene because you don't fully see what's happening on the inside. It's like that outside perspective of where Dent and Gordon is, and you hear the struggles, and then the guys, of course, falling out conveniently. Soft landing, like he bounces off the, whatchamacallit
canopy,
the canopy, and then he like lands on a cop. I kind of chuckled at that.
I know. No, I thought about, when we get to the whole hashtag Batman doesn't kill, I'm like, well, he did just throw him out a 6-story window. I mean,
you know what? I mean, there's like a thing. I mean, even like, with a recent movie that came out this weekend that we both saw, in that movie, it was like, hey, I'm going to tackle you out, go through a window, not care where I'm going to land, but we're going to land on something that's going to prevent our deaths.
I at least it wasn't a car, because whenever they land on cars, it's like that's metal. That's metal.
Yeah, I know. A canopy, yes, I get that. It's like a trampoline when it comes to movie or animated world. It acts as a trampoline. It never caves in on itself. But in Jackie Chan movies, he'll go through those things. But it will soften the landing for him at least. Right,
because it's stopping the momentum. Yes. Like it's taking the inertia as he's going down. Like, look, exactly. That's physics. That's how physics works.
Oh man. So then, of course, Batman saves the day, and there's like a shot of Batman. You actually saw that on the commercials, right?
Yes, that is. Oh man, that is like that was something in my notes. I said this episode in particular has some of the most iconic like Batman shots. Like they pulled so many Batman shots for the ads from this episode. But yeah, that one where like the cape is folded. It's very much like it would think it was he was in like an 80 Berg Fogeldorf. Now I'm going to go crazy and tell you, but there was a Batman artist that the way that that his cape is flying, it just
because it looks huge too.
It looks huge.
It's just such a good little shot because he's thanking Gordon, but then Gordon's looking off and he sees Batman, who's the true guy that like made this thing happen.
Breyfogle, that was it. Norm Breyfogle, when he would draw Batman. I mean, him and McFarlane, when they drew Batman, the cape was just like there's no godly way the cape is that long, and we don't care.
But there's just something about it. I mean, you said McFarlane. I mean, look at Spawn. I mean, that's like pure cape porn. Even when you watch the movie. Right. I know, but they were like more. I mean, that cape was like in it. I mean, I hope whatever iteration that we get. I know, like McFarlane's struggling to try to get the new movie going, but there's going to be a lot of cape porn.
There has to be cape. Yeah. Like I was so disappointed in that 95 Spawn movie that most of the movie he doesn't have the cape. I mean, they pioneered the idea of the cape being CGI, so you could get like one or two pure on cape porn shots, and this shot when Gordon looks up on the top of the building and he goes, thank you. And he's basically, thank you. And it's like, that's one of those cape porn shots.
Yeah. So then we got Harvey who, is talking to the press about what went down right here. And then one of Thorne's men just, decides to be like, screw this guy and kicks a little mud on Harvey. And what happens? Well, Harvey kind of loses his shit.
Yeah. That is like, I really like it because it's like psychotic break. He has multiple psychotic breaks because notice that when he comes back from it, he doesn't remember what he did. It is a psychosis where he has lost a grip on conscious reality, and I like the way that they have him like when he comes out of it, he's like, "What did I do?"
And then it's funny, like with the score, how the score plays along with that as well. Shirley Walker again. Just, that score that we just talk about with every episode, how great it is. And then, he's losing his shit. And he raises his fist, and then Gordon just comes in and just stops him because literally the press is all right there watching it. I mean, it's like, you're already screwed, dude. People are, it's going to be in the paper. It's going to be on the news tonight. Good job, Harvey. You're trying to get reelected. Stop.
Yeah. And that was an interesting thing too, is because we've seen Harvey. We saw a cameo of Harvey in On Leather Wings. Yes. And then, of course, he was there dating Pamela in the Pretty Poison episode. And so it's interesting that we're kind of jumping around time because now it's like it's time for re-election. Apparently, this is like his I think there's a joke later on that makes like this is going to be like his third term as district attorney. So they're establishing that, there's history there.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about the series is they didn't bother. I mean, they did origins for the villains a lot of times, but as far as the Batman world is concerned, no, we're just dropped in the middle of it. It's like, catch up.
Yeah. That's pretty much what they're doing. And then of course, this is where we get introduced. We cut to Rupert Thorne. This is where we get introduced to him, and it's Rupert Thorne, of course, watching the broadcast, and I think he called him Hothead Harvey or something like that.
Yeah, but that was like what was in the newspaper, and of course Thorne's thinking like, oh great, this is gonna like sell him, like he's gonna look, he's tough on crime or something. Like
that's what's funny about it is like while Gordon and maybe his campaign advisors be like, no, we can't have this. Thorne goes, that probably just got him 10,000 more votes. Just the fact that he attacked a bad guy, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, look at this guy, like he's gonna get shit done. Maybe he's Batman. You never know. I mean, him and Bruce got similar features. I think Harvey's got even a longer chin.
He's got a longer chin. Yeah, he does.
He definitely has a longer face. So
his hair is a little bit more practical for wearing a cowl. I mean, like he's not going to get that hair pour when he pulls it off. Like his hair is not going to do the little like the Affleck floppy thing.
I think that's why I always like that when in Dark Knight, when Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne, then when they're at Bruce's date goes, what if the district attorney is Harvey Dent, and she covers like his face, and I'm like, yeah, I could see people going, huh, because he does have that good chin.
Yeah, Aaron Eckhart had a great chin.
Oh yeah, he does have a great chin, and then and then of course we know what happens in the rest of that. But I'm just kind of applying that to this world of like, yeah, Rupert Thorne is actually right. Like as much as you think that would be bad for a politician or for the district attorney just to be attacking someone like that, people, the general public, might be like, hey, that's my guy right there. I'm definitely going to vote for him. And so it's like, hey. But if he goes a little too much.
Right. Now, shout out, by the way, to the voice actor, the actor who plays Rupert Thorne, who played Rupert Thorne through the whole thing, John Vernon. Now, do you know where you know John Vernon from?
I know the name.
Okay. Now, he's got some live action credits and he's got some animated credits to keep it. So he was the dean in Animal House.
That's right. Okay. Yes. All right. That's where, I mean, I know I've recognized the name. I recognize the voice too. Man,
he's also the mayor in Dirty Harry.
Okay.
And he's also in The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Wow. So he's been in some classic movies right there.
Yeah.
So.
And then in this whole like 90s animation world that we live in, he was over at Marvel. He was Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four animated series. He was Doctor Strange in the Spider-Man animated series. And then he was General Ross in the Hulk animated series.
Wow. He was just all over the place when it came to Marvel. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, so Rupert Thorne, of course, is like, he doesn't want Harvey to get into his shit. And then, he's got, I don't think I caught her name. What's his
Candace.
Candace. That's who it is. Yeah. I was like, damn, I didn't write down her name. Candace.
That was another one of those 10-year-old me was like, oh, Candace. Candace. I mean, because she's rocking like the business suit look with like the nice skirt and the heels. And it's just like, oh, okay. And classic, like gangster mall, femme fatale, which works great in this animated noir world that they have.
Yeah, because she plays a big role in this episode, and to try to get some dirt on Mr. Harvey Dent, but because she says a pretty good line that like she says, "Dent's so clean he squeaks." I was like, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good line. I like that line. It's good writing. Come on. From the Joker, the Joker stuff that we with all the puns and stuff that we've been going through. This has got some good writing going on.
Well, and that one wasn't played for laughs. That was that noir, private, like Raymond Chandler-esque dialogue, like the old, her legs was, her legs went on forever. I think only the floor kept her legs from going on forever. Cheesy stuff like that, but it's not played as a look at the camera and say a joke.
Yeah, it wasn't like punny or anything like that. It was just like, that's how squeaky clean he is. That's how he keeps all his personal stuff out from the public. and this just shows you that, she's probably been trying to do that, trying to get some dirt on him, and just has fallen flat. And I mean, this whole episode, I mean, while Harvey is trying to deal with this, big bad hard coming out, he is trying so desperately for it to not get to the public at all. And that's part of it too, which adds more stress to him, which then again, it
exacerbates the condition. Yes,
exactly.
I thought it was interesting that Harvey, and I'm sure this is still the case now, maybe less so, but maybe definitely the case in the 90s, that the idea that when Grace, his fiance, because he has a fiance all of a sudden, like
guy falls in love a lot. Yeah,
he does. And when Bruce says maybe he should get some help, and Grace is like, he is. And Bruce is trying to say, hey, it's not bad if you're seeing a psychiatrist, like this is, or psychologist. I think she was a psychologist. Psychiatrist prescribes medicine.
True.
So she was a psychologist. But he's getting help, and yet he's afraid that if people find out that he's getting help, that's actually going to go against him, which I think is a very interesting. Yeah. I think that's a very interesting little snapshot of a period of time where seeing a shrink getting help would be considered a bad thing instead of being a healthy thing.
Yeah, because nowadays, I mean, you hear that all the time. You hear, like, especially with podcasting, and you have like comedians or whatever, people that are performers will always talk about how, oh yeah, I go see somebody. I mean, it is healthy. I mean, even like, some, like, I've even thought about it too. Like, a friend of mine recommended like an online thing like that he was talking about. I'm like, yeah, that's probably something that that I'll definitely do. But yeah, we get to like a little campaign thing that's happening, and then Bruce is out there, who of course sponsored it, because they go way back.
I believe in Harvey Dent.
Yes, but what's funny is, like, I noticed his poster didn't really have a saying; it just said Dent. It's like, wait. That's it. You have Dent twice. Interesting. But it was like, well, I mean, back then, I guess they weren't really big with the creative slogans, because I believe Harvey Dent, that was a good slogan, I thought.
Yeah, it was a very good slogan. But we're still like 4 years away from Long Halloween coming out, where that came from.
Yes,
so
speaking of that, just the first part just came out.
I know I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet either. I'm with you.
I was catching up. I watched Soul the Dragon today. I started Justice Society World War II, and then I'm going to try to finish that, and then I'm going to watch Long Halloween Part 1.
Yeah, it's all that Fast and Furious marathoning you've been doing this past week.
Well, I went through it fast and furious. So
yes, you did. You furiously, yes, you did. I mean, that's a whole lot of adrenaline and testosterone that you went through in the week, man. I've noticed your shoulders got bigger. Yeah, somehow your shoulders got bigger just watching all that. But yeah, we get introduced to Harvey's fiance, Grace. I know. I'm like, where is it? Like, where is that drop? No, yeah, which is good, because obviously it adds more to the story of the fact that it's like, okay, he's got somebody's that he's fallen in love with. And, that works with the whole story, obviously, of what ends up happening with Harvey. So we get introduced to Grace at the campaign. And then Harvey finds out that Thorne's his goons get let off by the judge. And he ain't too happy about that. Starts losing his shit again.
Yeah. It's interesting how he loses it a lot in this episode. Yeah. But I think they justify it well enough in the idea that he has, he's got his re-election campaign. He's, got this big bust. I think they can justify why all of a sudden he's blowing up.
Oh yeah,
more often than not.
Yeah, it's definitely justified. But then it gets to the point where Bruce is trying to calm him down. And what does he call him? You rich twit. He calls him a rich twit. It's like, ooh, watch out, man.
I also love how the background always goes like red when he loses it. Yeah. Great visual representation of his temper, his anger. Once again, when this series works so well is when they realize they are animation. They can be a little bit more impressionistic about it, and they don't have to draw reality, like use the fact that you're animated to really sort of communicate some of these ideas. And I think that's another one of them.
Yeah, definitely. So then, so now I think, what's her name? Candace, right? Candace?
Candace is the bad.
The bad girl. Yeah,
the bad girl.
She's
yes,
there and sees that.
Yes.
So she starts going, I think we could utilize this. He seems to have a short fuse. So she starts, we see that she was present when he was losing it again. And then when he calms down, he of course gets embarrassed. Yes. Harvey does, as he does. It's just, again, that's what the running theme about this is like. He's trying to suppress all this back down and he can't. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, it's right in front of like the public. So he's like, it's just going to ruin his chances, his reelection chances, he's thinking, even though I just love the fact that Thorne was like, no, this actually might be helping you, dude. It's like, so I'm like, you're definitely going to get reelected. So I got to find, but if I can really dig deep and expose you, then I can get rid of you. So it's really good. Yeah, he gets embarrassed, and then she starts figuring things out, and then, even Bruce, they start laying in the whole things. Like Bruce even tells him that you're like a whole other person and stuff like that. They start laying that foundation of, of course, what we're gonna end up seeing, and then, of course, Harvey doesn't want to see a shrink because of how it looks and everything, but he's gonna, see. He says it's not a psychiatrist, but a psychologist.
Psychologist, yes.
But then the oh god damn, the mood of this scene. Of course, it's a night where it's storming, there's lightning, and
and the lightning does that little reveal, like that little flash reveal of the Two-Face design when Big Bad Harv comes out, and I'm just it's one of those blink and you miss it, but it's amazing. But yeah, it's just totally creepy because like he's totally calm. And then he goes to Big Bad Harv mode, and it's like
reaches in, starts flipping that coin, and that's where the music changes. And
his voice goes down like 2 octaves.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, and then of course he starts losing it too with her, and like what throws the table like literally out the window. I mean, he's about to get like, I mean, it's you could almost almost Hulk smash-ish, like he's gonna be, that's like his Hulk, where he's literally just like losing his shit, doesn't know what's happening, and he's causing destruction. And then when he comes to, he was like, I did that, it's like you come to, you don't know what happened, and there's like a fucking window that is like destroyed, and it's raining outside, and you're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I liked what the psychologist was saying too. Is like, Harvey felt guilty about his anger, but anger can be healthy. It's like there's this like in my mind, that's how you give exposition to children in a children's program and not be after school special about it. I like the way it was written, the way it was delivered, because in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's a nice little lesson there, but it's just
subtle.
It's laced in there.
There you go. Yeah. See, I mean, it's not all just Batman kicking everybody's asses. It's, there's lessons to be learned when it comes to this series. So he's trying to get reelected. Of course, that's the running theme. He doesn't want to admit it to himself that he needs help. And then when she's doing this, good old Candace is just like everywhere. She's listening outside and going, ooh, I just heard Big Bad Harv. I'm going to tell this to Rupee, as she calls him, right? She calls him Rupee, not Rupee.
Yeah, whatever. Stupid.
Come on. That's got to be the case. I mean, it's like, oh, Rupee. It's a cheesy name. It definitely is. But hey,
because she's got that voice, it sounds like she's smoked just one too many cigarettes.
That's very true. There's a funnier scene in which actually we'll have a clip of it that it involves her. It's just funny.
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
What you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh man. So then we so where are we at now? So we got Bruce. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I said that. Rain. Blah, blah. And now see, even though like I lose my spot, even though now I'm doing it digitally. But yeah.
Well, this is the point. Okay, so he sees his psychologist, and then after this, it's election night, and they're at his campaign headquarters, and Carlos, his aide, says that he's won by a landslide. But then that's when he gets the note that basically says, call, he gets the phone call and it's Rupert Thorne on the phone.
Yeah, and then even before that, just to establish a little bit more too, is he's planning on to announce his engagement to Grace. You know, of course, she's crying about it and blah blah blah. Like it's in his announcement speech, so it's going to be like a whole thing when he announces that he did get reelected. But yeah, then of course, you know, leave it to Rupert Thorne to rain on the parade. Gets the call, so now, and I love this too. And I love this where Harvey, of course, gets a call from him. He has to go take care of it, and then Bruce is you know, he's flirting with the woman, but then he's like, he immediately just stops.
Yes,
you know, and that's what I love. I mean, yeah, of course he's a playboy, but Bruce's attention will always be more about, hey, what's going on, as opposed to, you know, I'm gonna get this girl back to the mansion. You know, even though she goes, you know, of course, but it's his best friend. He's running off, like during his campaign night, where he's going to get reelected. Of course, it's going to raise suspicion. So, of course, he runs after his friend, and that's what I love about that. It's like, yes, Bruce will pass up some pusher for his friends, and to be, you know, and to be the Batman that he is.
And then we get some more, like this chase sequence when he's like jumping on buses and cars to follow the limo. Once again, these shots were all in the commercials.
Oh yeah,
because more cape porn. Because that cape is like, it's just fluttering, and it's and he gets like that cool like tracker gun, you know, to shoot the tracker onto the limo, because he's like,
I always find it funny. It's another thing of like, okay, you're shooting a tracker on something. Do you have to have it shaped as a bat? I mean, I know it looks cool, but I mean, when people find that, they're going to be like, hey, guess what? I think Batman's going to show up because look what we found on the car. You know, it's like,
and there's always the blinking red light, so you can really spot it.
Oh, I know. That's just like the common trope of everything. I mean, it's just such a funny thing. I always, you know, you pointed out, he was even when you watch like Batman versus Superman and what's his name smashes the camera in the beginning.
KGB.
It's literally just like a fucking blinking Christmas light, and it's just funny because that's what they have to do just to show the audience that, hey, guess what this is?
It's a tracker.
It's the same thing. I mean, I think I heard Kevin Smith in a podcast talk about how, no, it was a commentary for Dogma, because he made fun of the fact that you have to tie ribbons to vents to indicate that there's air
blowing. Yes.
And he goes like, yeah, in film school, you know, you want to write smart stuff, but you also have to appeal to the dumbest person in the audience. That's why he explained it. That's why when you see fans too, it's like, what, you couldn't tell by the blades like spinning really bad.
And the fact that it's oscillating, you know, it's.
Yeah, I mean, you watch Top Gun, holy shit. I mean, that movie's fans galore. You see that all through there, but it's just one of those things where it's just you know, you have to have the blinking, and it even makes a noise. Beep, you hear it. It get a noise too. It's like, you got to have that. So, then, yeah, we let's see, where am I at here? Bruce, okay, yeah, and then, of course, he's following Dent. Harvey, so this is where we kind of find out, because Rupert Thorne has the file on Harvey. So we get a little bit more of a backstory, which I really like here, is the fact that when he was a little boy, he was bullied. And then one day he decided, I'm going to fight back, as, you know, maybe like, I don't know if exactly a lesson, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But so he punches the kid, and then he finds out the kid was admitted into the hospital, but not for the punch. But it was never revealed to Harvey that it was because he had appendicitis.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Harvey took it to heart and then went, I can't get angry ever again. So this is the origin of suppressing the anger all these years.
And then all it did is it churned and psychologically created another identity where he could shove all those feelings, and like in that personality, that identity was allowed to absorb that. Because that's usually, you know, how DID works, is that you have a psychological break because you can't handle a situation. And so a personality develops basically as a defense mechanism for your mind to say, let us take care of this.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because last night when I announced that I wasn't going to have a vodka stream, what did I use as a GIF? I used me, myself, and Irene. It's like, wow, fitting because, you know, I was like, because for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I was just trying to decide, do I do one, do it not? And I had that voice that essentially, you know, I think I'm a lazy person by nature, but I always have like that workaholic type voice that goes, no, go, get up, do something, do something, do something. So when that happened and I'm like thinking, I haven't canceled a vodka stream and how long when I've done it like every Friday, I had that voice going, no, don't cancel. Even though I was like, yeah, cancel. You need a night off. You have some new stuff. Everything's kind of in disarray right now. So it's just kind of funny how I did use Me, Myself, and Irene as a GIF, which underrated Jim Carrey movie needs to be mentioned a lot more. So funny. Have you seen it?
I have not.
You should. It's pretty damn hilarious. I mean, it's very hard R, but yeah, there's some. I mean, it's Jim Carrey, multiple personalities. Really, all you got to know right there.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So we get of course, we get that little backstory, which I thought that was cool. Appreciated that. And then Thorne, of course, is trying to blackmail Harvey because he's got that file. He's going to reveal it. But guess who comes out? Because he gets so angry. Big bad heart. I like the little reveal, like you're actually you're speaking with him or something. Or is that what he says? Or was that earlier?
It's only one problem.
Oh yeah,
you're talking to the wrong Harvey.
Yeah. And then we get a nice little fight scene, and then Batman, of course, shows up to help out. And then this is where we come in because there's actually a really good shot. I love this shot where Batman, like I said, the animation just just so good. So I'm gonna
like butter.
It's so good. So here we go. Let me theater mode.
That right there. Like
this right here, where like you get that background that's just zooming, or like you know how hard this punch is going to be. But then that shot. Oh,
yes, that was in a commercial. That was in a commercial.
That was in a commercial. And then, but I love the fact that she was enjoying the fighting too. You see her face, and she was like
a little
enjoying
aroused.
the whole thing. Yes. So then we get to the part where Harvey.
Look out, Dent.
Oh, look out, Dent. Sorry. Hits the voltage, and here it comes.
Oh.
So good. Oh, there you go.
Oh, man. And no, this was one I took a note of because I always remember when he flips him over.
Yes. Just the look on Batman's face and the way he says it. Yeah.
Oh. Harvey. No.
Oh, man. So good. Look at those sad eyes.
Sad Batman eyes.
Yes. Oh, man. I know. And, you know, a little different than, you know, the source material because it normally happened in a courtroom, right? That he got.
And normally that's usually the version that you hear. But once again, these comic book characters have been around for 75 plus years. You know,
you could like this better. I mean, wasn't it like, didn't he have like a gun that shot out acid or something like that? If I remember correctly, in the old, like I don't know. I think I remember something like that.
Like a first appearance kind of deal.
Yes, I think it was like he actually had something that shot some acid at him or something. But then of course you had Batman Forever, which had that brief little backstory of, I think when I did my live watch, I made fun of it because he just literally just did that. And then Batman just was he sitting?
I know, right? Yes.
He just in slow motion, by the way, in slow motion. Like when you see the footage, it's in slow motion where he doesn't just open up that little door. He has to climb on top of the little barrier,
and then, like launch himself.
And then you see the it was really weird because he had like a file that he was like, they tried to guard his face from acid to like, it's just kind of cheesy, man. Oof. But I like this because it's like, yeah, he's chasing after somebody. I mean, obviously, there's some, there's some little bit of correlation to how, Joker, some kind of chemical, this time explodes though, as opposed to falling into something. But yeah, just does that and blows half his body and everything. And then what were your thoughts when you first saw the Dark Knight's like version of how Two-Face came to be? The burning.
The only thing I would say was I thought it was a little understated. Like I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, because there's like the little chemical trail and like that's what got to his face. Like I'm gonna be frank, it was a little underwhelming, like the actual like burning his face part. Yeah.
But then it made up for it when he wakes up and he's like,
that's cinema.
Yes. I mean, when he's, oh man. I mean, just like, what did they used to call me? And he's all, and then Gordon didn't want to say it. And he's all, say it. He just yells it at him. I'm like, God, such a beautiful scene. But yeah. I mean, there's going to be always different versions of that, of how he became Two-Face. But so Dent is, of course, in the hospital. And then Bruce, I like what he says too right here. He goes, when they're talking about the scars, and he's all, I'm more worried about the mental scars.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we got to remember that Bruce essentially has, I mean, it's not like this, but he does technically has two personalities.
Yes, he does.
Okay? So, I mean, there's a little bit of that we got to think about. I mean, that's what's so cool about the Two-Face character, is the fact that you can make that little connection. I mean, not only is Harvey and Bruce old chums, but at the same time, it's like, well, he's got this, extreme example of multiple personalities, of a dual personality. And then, you got Bruce, who has a handle on it, but let's face facts, there's still a little mental illness right there, which I love.
Yes.
So really good.
But I appreciate the fact that he realized that the physical scars were not going to be as damaging as what this could have done to his mind.
Exactly. And then there's even a really cool shot too, because we go back to Thorne, who sees it in the newspaper, and we see the bandaged up, which of course is one half fully bandaged. And then when he like throws the paper in the fire, it's just like the fire engulfs it, and at the last remaining part is like his face like half bandaged. It's good animation, guys.
Imagery.
I'm telling you, it's so good. So then, of course, we get to, I mean, come on, who got Batman 89 vibes from this? You did.
Oh, you see the tools I have to work with here.
Mirror. Yeah, we got. I mean, it's totally 100%. Bandage is taken off. The shock, and then of course the person requesting a mirror, and then this is going to be, of course, the next clip that we have, because it's so good. I mean,
man, what an ending!
Because he sees what he looks like, and then this is right as Grace is walking up, just that whole establishing how he's in love and his fiance and blah blah blah. I mean, it's just, it all just works with this. With this here, and then it's just so awesome. So let's enjoy this beautiful chef's kiss of animation and everything right here. Even just the way he looks right there and how they tease it. Look at that.
Oh, and they're not showing it to you.
Yes. And then
guys, you're professionals. Could you not react like this? I'm just saying.
And then he throws them. Then he just screw your roses. And just not showing him just a little bit. Get a little lip. God, he's got such a good freaking, oh man. So it's such a good yell. Look at this. The lightning.
The music. Dun.
And then the reveal.
With the lightning.
Yes. And then she passes out as characters do. Oh man.
Goodbye, Grace.
And then he says goodbye to her. Look at that music. God. Look at that. Right out the window. Zoom in on that shit. Yes. God. That music is just so good.
And the three words you hate to see. To be continued.
I know, because anytime that you start checking that clock, when you're watching, I mean, that's with anything with TV. I think even Jerry Seinfeld had like a bit about it. Like, oh my God, we're almost it's like 7:56. What the hell? It's not finished yet, or something like that. I think he had some kind of bit about it. But yeah, it's true. You start looking at the clock, you're going, wait a minute, this is over at 5 o'clock. You're like, it's 7:57. Wait, no. But it's such a good cliffhanger. I mean, that reveal, the lightning, and just everything about that. I mean, that's one of the best shots right there of the whole series, in my opinion.
I'm also glad they went with that teal color.
That's what I was gonna bring up at the very end here, like the fact, because normally when you see like in the books, it's like there's a red. I mean, obviously there's a red, and there's also a green, right?
The green, right? At this point,
mainly, yeah.
It's to this point, green was the main color. Like, I mean, like frog green. And I'm glad that they didn't go. They went with that more sort of teal that just sort of blends a little bit better with their color palette. Going back to the idea, of course, that we talked about that they only had their Tiny Toons colors to work with.
That's right. Is that the color of Buster?
You know what? I think it was. You know, I think we need to do a side by side comparison here. I think that was Buster's color.
I don't know. Now I'm gonna look. I want to look at it like Buster's color right now, because you might be right about that. Let's see, Buster Bunny. Man, I gotta revisit Tiny. I mean, let's see. Let me share it here. It's pretty close. I think it's pretty damn close. Buster Bunny. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, see, there's that correlation. See, we just connected this episode with Tiny Toons. We gotta love it, man.
Oh,
are they doing a revival of Tiny Toons?
There had been talk that they were going to do one where they were all in college, like they were at.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
because they were going to do. There's the Toon University, and they were supposed to be doing like everyone's in college now.
Yeah, so that would be interesting, because I know they revived Animaniacs, but that went to Hulu, and I still haven't watched it yet.
I've watched the Zack Snyder joke in it.
Yeah, the Zack Snyder joke was cool.
I did watch some of the Animaniacs. I didn't finish it. My biggest criticism is that because the only thing they revived of it was Yakko, Wacko, and Dot and Pinky and the Brain. So you get none of the other characters. So every episode is one Warner Brothers, Warner Sister episode adventure, and one Pinky and the Brain. So you don't get that cool freshness of here's a Rita and a Ruff, and here's a pigeon. Here's the good pigeons, and It gets a little old, only that it's just those two over and over again without the rest of the cast of characters.
Probably because, I mean, they probably ran a little study like, what, should we incorporate like the whole thing? And people are like, well, no, Animaniacs and Pig in the Brain are obviously the top. And then, the good pigeons and what's her name? What's the dog and
Rita and Ruff.
Rita and Ruff, where it's just it's just a dog trying to make sure that Rita's she's not going to get killed. So maybe they just kind of did something like that. But I see what you're saying. That's kind of disappointing. You want the whole thing when it comes back, not just the two mains. But anyway, so yeah, that's the end of the episode. Like I said, those 3 words were just like to be continued, and you're just man. So we got to wait till next week, guys, just like we did back then. Wait a week to discuss.
No, back then we only had to wait till the next day.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What am I thinking?
Well, we're still in like 5 days a week after school mode. We're not to Saturday morning yet.
Sometimes though, you had to wait 2 days. It was a Friday episode. Kind of makes you wonder.
I know. I actually know. I think they never did that to us, though.
Really?
They never aired a part 1 on a Friday. They always made sure that the part 1 and part 2 happened. It was like when they did the Phoenix Saga on X-Men, and it was 5 parts. Right. So it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So they made sure they're like, this is a week of oh wow, yeah. So that's good. That's good though. They get what they're doing. You still got to wait a day, but that's fine. But there it is, man. This is one of the gems right here. I mean, all the way down to the title card. Oh. I think on our first episode we talked about this is one of my favorite ones. It's because of light, of course, black and white. It's going right there, and you got the thumb out, and it's so minimal. I mean, like a lot of the title cards, but it's so minimal. And he's got his thumb up, and you see the coin. It's just so good. Well, careful, Scott's gonna pull. There it is. Yes,
Mondo poster. There was a Mondo poster for this one. I think it's interesting because I think they were playing off of that title card. I think the title card did it better, but Actually, I like the alternate design more than I like what the final design ended up being, because this is what. Let me make sure I don't bump my microphone and be a complete tool. So here's what the is what the final ended up being.
Nice.
And then here's what they had as alternate designs: is they kind of had matching.
Wow. See, I like that a lot. Look at that.
I wish this had been the way they had gone, because I like this.
That is really cool, man. God, love art. like that. It's really good stuff. But yeah, there you go, guys. There's Two-Face Part 1. And of course, next week we'll be doing Two-Face Part 2, which, a little weaker, sadly. I mean, it's not, it's still good, but when it comes to this and the ending shot, everything, there's a lot of things that are just really, this is probably in my top 5, I would say, of episodes when it comes to this series.
I'm not sure if I have it in my top 5. I may. It would definitely be in top 10.
Yeah.
But it's just real, I've had that conversation before when you go back. And the problem is when you try to start doing a top 5, you want to go, I'll take one of those and one of those and one of those and one of those.
It's difficult because, then all of a sudden you go, oh, yeah, that episode, shit. It's just, you start thinking about, and as you're going along and looking through, you're going, it is difficult, definitely difficult. But I think as of right now, since I've watched it, I'm like, that's definitely my top 5. So anything else that you want to say about this episode?
I think we have said everything there is to say. It's just, it's one of those episodes that really kind of speaks for itself, just because it's like, and it's another one of those episodes that when you post on social media that you're watching it, everyone, like, it's one of those episodes that everyone like jumps in because they're always like, oh yeah, this shot or that, like they talk, like I think Carrie talked about the big, you're talking to the wrong Harvey, everyone, and several people mentioned the ending shot. Like there's just things in this episode that we're like, are just like burned into our brains because it's that important of an episode.
Well, just even down to the sound of the coin flip, it's just, it's so like they attention to detail when it came to it. I mean, it's slow and it just, you hear the ding,
like it starts to kind of drive you a little, like bonger, like especially listening to that.
Ding. It's so good, just so good. I mean, and then of course, we're going to see a lot more Two-Face even after part 2, which is, and I think when it comes to his score, I mean, obviously it's so recognizable, and it's funny too because there's an episode that, because I just left it playing. There's an episode that came out that came after part 2, and when we get to it, it's just a cool moment in it. That has transitions of themes, which I thought, oh, that'll be something to point out when we get to that episode. But there you have it, guys. There is part 1 of Two-Face. Like I said, tune in next week. We'll be at the regular. I'm pretty sure we'll be at the regular time. I do have plans tonight, so that's why I was like, all right, I'm going to do it a little early. And thank you, Scott, for
blame Dave.
Accommodating.
Blame Dave.
Yeah, it was me.
I had nothing to do with this for once. Nothing. He's canceling vodka streams. He's moving the Fan-imated time. I mean, why do you hate us? Why do you hate us, Dave? Why do you hate us?
I know. Well, I mean, it's funny too, because if you guys saw my Twitter, one of the things that happened yesterday too was when I have a stand right here that my monitor sits on. And when I got my new camera, which I'm not using right now because I still need some attachments and stuff, I was just trying to see like angles and stuff like that. And so I moved this a little bit. One of the legs went boop, and I had these guys that usually are on the stand. I had them propped on my armrest. That is my couch right there. And this guy, right? This guy right there was right there. Hit the sweet spot of the screen. Boom. Screen damaged. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Blood Rain Batman. Red Rain? Blood Rain?
Red Rain.
Red Rain.
Red Rain.
Yeah.
Red Rain. Yeah. Vampire Batman.
Dude, look at how pointy that is. That hit
you
right
want to know why?
Perfectly.
You want to know why? Because that is Kelly Jones. Like you've seen Kelly Jones Batman, right?
They always have the long ears, right?
Oh, there's long ears, and then there's
just overdoing. Yeah, I've seen those.
Oh my god, he's one of those artists that's like, as a kid, I didn't like it, and then as I got older, I was like, that looks cool. Like, I get it. I get it.
I get it too. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, like after all this, trying to set things up, trying to get all this new stuff that I'm trying to do. I didn't really, it's funny because, like I've talked about, I've had a Mac for like the last decade. Those screens, sturdy. Like, I mean, that's hard plastic right here. These Dell screens, woof, man, I didn't realize how sensitive they are. And I'm like, I found out the hard way how sensitive they are. All it took was a long bat ear to just hit that sweet spot. And now I literally have to condense, about
you have a two-face monitor. There you go.
But it's not directly in the middle, thank God. It's a little, it's only about a third of the screen. So now I have to condense like all my windows to that. Luckily though, guys, I mean, anytime you make like a purchase and, obviously when you're purchasing stuff, that cart, when you see taxes, delivery, you see all the stuff when they ask you about insurance, sometimes good idea to do it. And I'm glad I did it. I got like some kind of 3-year plan thing. And I like went on the Dell site and talked to somebody and they're like, yep, it's been within 30 days, especially we can replace that for you. Send us a picture, see what happened and blah, blah, blah. So luckily I'll be getting a new screen. I just have to wait now.
The waiting.
But it is kind of nice. It's, it's like these colorful lines. Kind of adds to it a little bit, adds some light coming off of it, so I'm more illuminated. So there you go. It's not all bad, but then there's lines that go that way too, and I'm like, good God. Anyway, so that's what my Friday was like yesterday, man. I tell you. All right, well, like I said, thank you guys for joining in, and you guys know what to do. Well, first off, Scott, you go.
You were about to forget, man.
I know. Yeah, you're the only one here, and I almost forgot you.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Film Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. We're also on Vero, Facebook, YouTube. You can find the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com. Also, don't forget that I am here every Saturday with Dave doing Batman the Fan-imated stream. And I do believe that this coming week, Wonder Meg and I will be returning to our Dune stream with an extra sized episode to make up for the fact that we've been gone for a week, so we're discussing that we're going to review some more chapters. We're going to do more than just 3 chapters to kind of make it a super special episode.
There you go. And you got an extra 3 weeks now because they delayed the dead. Another 3 weeks. I know it was coming out on my birthday, and then now it's coming out on the 22nd or 23rd?
22nd, the same day as like 3 other movies. So now it's like 2 of which I'm not really that concerned about, but now it's coming on the same night as Last Night in Soho, and I'm like, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna see Dune first, like, just
of course,
that's gonna happen. But maybe there's that moment we have to go. I have to make choices now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, especially like we were talking about when like you and your wife go out. I mean, it's like it's a whole event. So you got to really play. I mean, I just go over here just by myself. I can watch whatever the fuck, But yeah, it's a plan. Yeah, you need babysitters and everything like that. So yeah, but yeah, you got to do Dune. Definitely.
Okay, do Dune. Yeah, in IMAX.
Oh, it's a no-brainer at that point. But anyways, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like, thumbs up too. Also, if you want to become a member, hit the join button, or if you want to join the Patreon and get access to that and join the Patreon stream, which I might actually do tomorrow because next week's a holiday. So I might not be able to do that. So do all that, guys. Check out the merchandise, and coming soon we'll have some Batman the Fan-imated shirts in there of some of the drawings that you've seen, of course, at the beginning of this. Just trying to figure out exactly how I want to finalize those. And now that I got the new computer and everything's all nice and buttery, you don't even know, dude. Like I think I said this on Film Junkie Live on Wednesday, because I got the computer Thursday, and I wanted to do a video, and it was no glitches. Just editing, no glitches. It was just boop, 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 boop. And then when I hit the render or the export button, and it's just like for a 10-minute video, it took like 24 seconds. It was like, boom, ding. And I was like, I need a cigarette after that.
All the time you suddenly have now.
It's so good. I know, because usually it's like boom, and like something like that with my Mac would have taken probably about 8, maybe like 7 or 8 minutes. Man, it just was like I saw it go, and I was like, "Oh, look at that! Just so beautiful." I mean, I tell you, there'll be a lot of hopefully a lot of more content coming out of this channel right here. So, all right, guys, we love you, and we'll see you next week, same bat time. Not same bat time. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens next week because it is a holiday next week, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, we'll talk to you later.